Well, hello everybody. We're a little behind today from our normal time, but we're here. It's 3 o'clock my time here in the central part of the United States of America. Welcome to Piece of Pat Paints. I'm Pat. We paint pieces. Usually they're little itty bitty pieces, miniatures. Sometimes we get to paint other things. But it's mostly miniatures. I hope you guys are having a great day. I had a great day. It was a fun ride. I got to take my son to Tulsa. He's in a robotics tournament. He's kind of he has a mind of gears and metal and math and stuff like that. So he's he's up there doing that thing, which is pretty cool. It was fun to drive him. When he played soccer, I used to drive him all over the place to play soccer, and that was really cool. I love doing that. So it was kind of fun to do that again. But today we need to get onto this part of the day. So I decided we'll just jump on a little later. And I got soccer practice here in a few from my other son, because all my boys and my girl, they're all busy. All my kids are busy. Yeah, so it makes me busy. It's great. It's great. I love it, actually. I probably love being dad more than I like doing anything else, if I'm completely honest. Although there are times it's super stressful and it makes you want to pull all your hair out, it's still the best. Bobby got knocked over. Get up there, Bob. And we'll change your painting over too, huh? Let's see. What do we get today? What do we got? Oh, a nice waterfall. Look at that. So we'll get that one to you. There you go, buddy. Little Bob Ross. Wing. Oh, we don't need that one. We need this model. So, we are back to painting Illuminar's Ares today. We've been rocking and rolling his upgrades slowly but surely. Getting him all taken care of. Might come through and do a little bit of some edge highlighting and such as that. We'll see how it goes. I think we're gonna mainly try to work on these weapons. There's a whole lot of work and detail that goes into them. So we're gonna kind of try to get that one. So we have this piece, and this piece. We're gonna try and we have another green glow here. Goodness, got the coughs going on today. I'm gonna take a little drink of water real quick. I'm coughing a lot. Okay. All right, there we go. I'm gonna wait a second, make sure I'm okay. That's the fun thing about having a little bit of a longer. You gotta wait a second. Am I okay or am I getting ready to go bad? All right. Smoke another. No, I can't smoke. I can't smoke anymore. I haven't smoked. Man, I haven't smoked cigarettes. Man, Dave, bro, I don't even know. I don't even know how long it's been since I smoked cigarettes. I think I quit like the year before you got married. It's been a while. So I quit around, I don't know, golly. I guess I quit when Cullen was born. So I've been quit for, man. Wow. Bro. I've been quit for like 16 years. Shit. Well, okay. I quit. And I've only smoked cigarettes one other time since I quit. Long time ago. When I was in Edinburgh, Scotland. I'd always wanted to walk the streets of Edinburgh in the rain, smoking a Lucky Strike cigarette, and I did that. I smoked one cigarette, and I think I gave the rest of the pack away to a drunk guy or something. Because they were awful. I did not like it anymore. And that's how I knew, that's actually how I knew I was really quit, is that like I was able to smoke a cigarette and then I was like, nah, it does not taste good. So you're just trying to, on this, we're just trying to kind of frame the edge. Sometimes it can look a little wonky because it's going to go down and up. So depending on how you're looking at it, it could look a little funky to you. So make sure you're rotating around. Take a look at what you're doing and see if it looks weird at every angle, then it's weird. But if it looks good on one angle and bad on another, maybe you just kind of missed a little section or something and you need to tighten it up. And you don't need to start all the way over. You just need to figure out where you've made that mistake. And again, you can always do this little trim here, and you can come back with that phthalo green, and you'll be able to make your boxes look a little bit better. I actually kind of like doing it that way sometimes. You kind of have a trace down, and then you kind of work it back and forth until you get the right thing. Sometimes, you know, everybody's hand shakes. Everybody has little issues. Especially as you get older. Your hands will shake more and more and more. But this stuff's actually, doing this is, it's not that bad. Once you kind of get used to it and you figure out how to do it, it's not bad. You're really trying to mostly follow what the model itself was already showing you. So at least there's no guesswork. It's not like freehand. Freehand is a lot harder. We'll do some freehand when we get something big enough to do that on. We got like a cloak or something coming soon. We'll do something like that. Like a big cloak. I should have done something on the witch. I did at the beginning of the channel, but I was trying to get that done for my mom for Christmas, and so I cut it short. This is another part right here. This part right here, it's important not to get your paint too far up your bristles. You're full, because we don't want the paint to, that sounds like Kale's here. We don't want the paint to, you know, touch the other edge. We just want it to touch the edge we're working on. So doop 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 doop. What's up, man?
Hey. Yeah.
I made it down and got on the show.
Nice.
How was school?
Good, it was good.
Awesome. Trying to do his little crystal.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's looking good.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be neat.
I'm gonna go heat up something to eat. I'm hungry.
Yeah, I think there's still more of that pizza in there if your stomach can handle it. I couldn't eat it. I think I might be getting too old.
Yeah. I haven't felt too bad, so I think I'm gonna eat some more of that.
Whoa. We got pizza and it was good. It was good when it was fresh, and then like I heated some up and it was not good. At least it was not good to me. Like it did me dirty, man. It was bad. I felt terrible. Oh. Here's where it's going to get tricky. Is trying to edge highlight in a model put together all the way down in there. I don't even know if I can see that. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. I think it's from this side over here. Oh, yeah. Okay, now maybe through there. Can I get it? Can I get it? Nope. I'm going to have to try it that way again. Oh my. I got it, barely. Not the prettiest thing, I think, but it is way underneath the model. So most people aren't going to see it. So, you know, as long as that top part looks really good, it'll be in great shape. Now with this little thing, we want to bring this up pretty bright. So that's easy. We just paint it bright. That one's an easy one. Yup. It's pretty neat. Alright, so next we gotta do this bulb, which I didn't actually paint it white. So we gotta paint it. We'll paint this and this up here white. Got a little more white on there than I really needed, so we're just gonna drive it up there. There we go. And again, we can leave the recesses darker. It's okay. That's not a big deal. And we're not worried about get a perfect coat of white. We just need to get the white on there to help that green stand out better later on down the road. Goodness. Alright, let's go in between. There we go. Just kind of bebop around. Take your time. There we go. That's nice. I'm going to put that white down on all this. If we can heal over paint, we'll just come back later. I'll throw a little bit on there. Try not to, but yeah, no, things happen. It's all good. Part of the reason you want to make sure you're white on that, get white here, is to let that deeper green be the deeper green. It can sometimes, especially down in like the crevice, where it might be too black, you won't see the green color of it. And so if we put a little bit of white down first, the green will pop right out. This crystal is going to be a whole lot easier to get to. So, you know, that's nice. We got that going for us. And again, we're just trying to make sure we've got coverage here. There we go. Now again, these things sometimes are easy with airbrush. You can just airbrush the snot out and boom, 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 you're done. If you're on airbrush. But not everybody has airbrushes. So sometimes you gotta learn how to do it the old-fashioned way. Lends itself a little bit more to chatting too. We can sit here and talk. I can talk longer. Not that there's anybody necessarily to talk to today, but that's okay. One day. One day we'll go. Some big truck out there. Sounds like they're having trouble. Kale! Yeah? Go get the mail! I don't know why the lady honks. So weird. Yeah. Our post lady's she's very nice, but she's a little weird. I mean, obviously it wasn't anything I had to sign for because she gave it to the child. So I don't know why she could have just left it. Yeah, whatever. That's funny. Alright, almost got this done. Oh, we could turn on some music. That'll help break the silence. If I remember what I do on my phone. I guess that doesn't help us, does it? I'll just sing to you. How's that? You don't actually want me to do that. That's a joke. Well, now I'm curious what I do on my phone. Oh well. It's kind of nice to be separated from your phone occasionally. If you've never done it, try it. You'll be surprised. Or if it's been so long that you don't remember the last time you did it, try it. I know everybody was freaking out the other day when Facebook went down. That's funny. Just make sure we get into all these little nooks and crannies. Get all these little bits as best you can. Trying to be careful not to disturb any of my metal, because I don't want to bother that. But I want to pay special attention to these gaps, these insides. I want to make sure I've got a bit of white in there so that it will help that green look more green on the inside. Instead of it looking like black, I want it to look like the dark green. So A little bit of white does that. Get a little water. You can definitely tell allergy season is about to go full swing. I like the spring though, as much as it makes my face hurt. At least it's really pretty. You know, spring's a it's a good time of year. It's always beautiful, and especially out here in Oklahoma. Out here in Oklahoma, we get these trees that are called red buds, and so they'll sprout these little red bits when on the actual bud itself. Hence the name, obviously. Yeah, they're such a neat tree that you can't help but notice them. Because everything else is, you know, all the other trees are budding green, but these have these little red buds, and they're really pretty. But it's definitely an Oklahoma thing. If you've lived in Oklahoma at any time in your life, you've definitely seen red buds. So, all right. So we're going to drop that phthalo blue, or green, not blue. Phthalo green. We were using that as blue earlier. The other day. Very nice, very nice. I found my phone. So, anyway, let's play some music. Gotta get that good royalty-free stuff. Alright, okay, so next we'll have to move up onto that ball. So we're gonna, we guess we could paint everything except phthalo and then get on to the next part of it. Might make it a little bit faster. There we go. A little music better. I like having a little music. That one down there, that white faded a lot. That's alright. Now I'm going to do this one green, but I think I want to do this other one blue. That way he's going to have two different colors. And one's a phthalo green and one's a phthalo blue. And it'll be easier to tell when they're all said and done, but they should look interesting that way. To where they're like the same, but they're not the same. Should be fun. And this is probably going to take 2 rounds of the green. Make sure we're getting all the way down those crannies. But don't jam your brush. I say that a lot. I think I will probably say that on as often as I can. Part of your brush care is really based in lots of things. One, it's care for your tools, and with care for your tools comes a lot of more care for your art in general. But there's also, like, there's a cost difference there. If you're going to buy something nice, you should learn how to take care of it. And that's to say you can't take care of, your mid-grade stuff and make sure it's well taken care of too. Or even if you're, just trying to practice good habits. But you really, taking care of your brushes will preserve them for a long time. So if you're buying brushes that cost you $10 a piece or $15 a piece or whatever, and you're shredding them every time you paint a miniature, well, your miniature cost, you're not being cost efficient. And it might be fun. I understand. I tear up brushes too, but I buy a bunch of cheapo brushes for that. Synthetics and stuff. I wouldn't do that with one of these Kolinsky Sable brushes or something. I would do that with something much cheaper. So learning how to take care of a good brush is the first step in really branching out to owning higher end brushes. Yeah, and that's why I wanted to get the brush soaked, because I needed it anyway. And show you guys that this is a product you can use. This is how you use it. And try to model good behaviors for all those things. I'm still a little bit of an anarchist, so that's okay. Sometimes I get a little chaotic. I forget what I'm doing, and that's my nature. I think artists in general have that. There's a lot of artists that have a chaoticness to us. But not everybody. I know some artists that were very mechanical. That's one of the fun things about art. There's so many different types of people that can do it and will do it or feel like doing it. And anybody could technically do art. Anybody could. You just have to have the guts for it, really. There's a lot of courage involved in trying to make something artistic. And then sharing it with people is even a little bit more intimidating for some. I talked to a couple of my friends that do miniature painting and told them what I was doing, and they're like, "Are you insane? You're gonna do that live?" And I was like, "Yeah, why not?" And they're like, "Well, what if you mess up?" And I was like, "I'm gonna mess up all the time." It's kind of a point. We want to mess up. If we don't mess up, then you don't learn it, and we don't get a chance to teach you anything. And they just couldn't understand that idea. A couple of my other friends got it. They were like, "Oh, that's really neat." But some of them are like, "What? That's crazy." I forgot to do this right here. See, there's another, just a little error that you can see that people make. If I made a full trimmed down film of this, you wouldn't see this. But since it's live, you can't hide. I think that's one of the things I love about professional athletes, or like even Saturday Night Live, or people who perform live music. Anything you're doing where you have to be live, it's so interesting. I always liked watching street artists. I never pictured I'd kind of be like one. Maybe I consider this the street. It's the street of the internet. That's why we all have addresses. Get it? I'm goofy. Okay. I think you got it all now. Alright. Back at a green. Yep. So this is a phthalo green we put on here, and that's pronounced. That's spelled PTTHALO. Phthalo. It's funny. It's one of my favorite things to say. There's lots of words out there I love. When I get to say them, I'm like, yeah, that's fun to say. Maybe I'm just a dork. That's all right. I don't care. Too old to care. Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm just an old codger. Nothing wrong with that either. I get to yell at people to get off my yard. Nobody comes on this yard though, except for the mail lady. And she doesn't get out of her car. She honks. Oh gosh. So fun. I love. I'm starting to get where I really enjoy being here at home instead of out working. And just the strange things that happen around the house. I do miss cooking every now and again. But not, it gets farther. As the farther away I get from it, the less I miss it. So, I wonder if that's pretty normal. Probably is. It was definitely nice to be able to run off and take my boy up to his deal. That was on a Thursday in the middle of the day. Nice. It was good to be able to do. I think I missed it. There we go. So that's the first step of making that look like that. That like that. These silent videos are always so interesting. I never know what's going on. It's going to be so weird if we ever get to a point where it's going so fast I can't keep up. I watch friends of mine and some of the people I like to watch their live streams of things they do, and they're always going crazy, and it's like, oh wow, I don't know that I can keep up with all that. But you know what? I'll try anything once, right? Twice if I like it. I'm definitely not the kind of person that lets fear and doubt get me down. I'm gonna go headlong into it. I like to try. I'm never one of those guys that likes to sit back and watch other people do things. I want to try it. I want to try it. I mean, I'm now at my age, I think there's some things where I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to try that. I'll watch people do that. But it's when they do, like, golly, it hurts to watch them And I'm too old for that. I don't want to bust my knees up anymore and stuff like that. It's a fascinating anecdote I had there. Guess that's the fun part about having your own show. You can talk about whatever you want. Alright. I'll put another little bit of work on. Yeah, that looks a lot, but now you can really see the difference between the green and the blue. Well, I mean, I can. They are super close. You might not be able to. You might look at them and be like, Pat, those are the same. And I'm like, no, I promise you, they're not. That eyeball and his other eyeball are two different colors. One is blue and one is green. They're just they're like this close together, though. They'll look better later. I don't know why I think that stuff's so funny. I just find it amusing. Color is just so fun to me in general. The whole concept of color and the fact that we didn't used to see in color and that some people still can't see in color and one makes you wonder, is color an illusion? Alright, that's going to be a nice dark green start. Alright, we'll do the bulbs later. I want to tackle this. Lance. Okay. Alright, there's a little bit of a source material. Can kind of use this as our idea. If not, you can kind of see what they've done. Same kind of thing I've done a little bit. A little different. Kind of same. Anyway. I think the main key when you're doing this is you want to offset stuff. So like if you start on one corner as that being the light on the top, you need to make the blade part the light on the other side. But first we're going to start off with just kind of tracing the outline of the blade. Just so we kind of know where it is. You can see that very, very faint line. And this side's a little easier. Because we're just coming right down this edge. And we're going to go ahead and paint this stuff in on this side, so I'm not worried too much about making a brighter edge there. So if I make that little mistake, it's no big deal. We're going to paint this in pretty good. Remember, with these smaller brushes, kind of need to keep them clean, keep them wet. That's another part of what you don't really get shown on all those other videos, is how often they're washing their brushes and things like that. I mean, those guys are outstanding. I watch some cool. I've seen some really neat folks online. I'm totally not bashing work. I'm definitely trying to kind of make my own thing, you know, like own idea. Something that's not really seen. There's a few people who do live painting every now and again, but I don't think that's their exclusive deal. Maybe there is. I think they'll probably look more. I can't be the only person who had the idea. That's not how reality works. On this side, we want a little bit more of the brightness down here than at the top. Just a little bitty edge. I'm going to try and blend this up too. Yep. Well, hello, Jim Lee. How are you today? Thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it. A little too much there. What we need to do next is kind of like we did down here, but very shallow. We don't really want a whole lot of this at all on this side. Just kind of a little bit of it. And it'll fade just a little, so we're going to leave that all kind of there and let it just hang out. We might add a little bit more to it later. We might take a little off. Just kind of depends. What is this? This is a Necron. It is part of an army for a game called Warhammer 40k. This particular character is named Illuminor Xeris, and he's like a mad scientist for undead Egyptian robots is the best way to describe it. And he carries an Eldritch Power Lance, and so we're trying to make it look like green glowing crystal for his little lance. So it'll take a little bit of work, but we're going to get there. It just takes a little bit of time. So now we're going to kind of keep working this little bit right here. It needs a little bit more of our light green. And we'll come up onto this side. We're going to kind of do the same thing. How do you learn this? Well, okay, so that's a good question. One, you can watch me do it because I kind of explain what I do as I go. And then there's a lot of other YouTubers out there that do this sort of thing. There's already a lot more concise videos where they're going to actually take all the footage and break it down in a more clean, digestible format. This is designed to be more of a question and answer deal, like we're doing right here, to kind of help people get involved and kind of learn. And painting in general just takes a lot of practice, so there's a lot of that involved. But they also have hobby stores will have painting events where you can go in and they'll have a miniature for you to paint and some of their paints available and brushes, and you can kind of hang out and paint there. So you can check out your local hobby and game store, and they can do that. And we have I have a lot of different miniatures I'm working on. Like this one, we just finished this guy. This is from a different army. And so this is kind of what they look like when this army would look like when it's all done. And they're kind of standing in a road. And this guy's for a completely different army. So he's going to look a little different and have different aspects and stuff like that. So, yeah. It's a great question. Thank you for asking. Didn't figure out how to paint the figures yourself. Well, you can buy figures already painted. That's part of this particular game. Is some people like painting them, so they'll painting them up in whatever color scheme they want. But you can also pay other people to paint. There's a market out there. I actually do that too. I'll paint for commission if people want. And I've got a few commissions actually who are working in the pipe right now while I'm working on. Some of them, if they are commissions I can do on camera, I do those on camera. But if it's not, I take care of that off camera. And you can commission people to paint stuff. It's not the cheapest thing in the world to have somebody else paint it for you, but it can be done. Can and will, Ted. Can and will. So here we go. We're just very carefully going around the edges. How much is a whole army painted? Depends on which army. Some armies are a lot easier to paint than others, and so they'll cost more. And there's also different levels of painting. So you can have things that are done at a smaller level, or not smaller, less extravagant level, and it would cost you less than if you were to want things painted to super extravagant. Like if you didn't want this kind of detail where we're really making this crystal look really clean, then and you just wanted it painted green, it costs you a lot less than what I'm doing, where I'm coming through and really working. This one's for my son, and he's not an older boy, so painting is not as easy for him. So he's painting some of his little guys, and I'm painting his big. This is like his commander, so I'm painting it up for him, because you should do that stuff for your kids, right? That's what you should do, especially if you have the ability to do it. You're like, oh yeah, no, I can paint it. Let me do that for you. And we built it together, which was fun. And his brothers play, and I don't play much Warhammer. I love the lore, and I love their miniatures. But I'm more of a Dungeons and Dragons player myself. All right, so you're just trying to box in that crystal. And any blemishes or anything like that you have, you can always come through and tone them back down by bringing back your phthalo green, and you would just run it right underneath there, and you just clean it up easy. Jim says, I've never played it before, but I've seen people play it. That's cool, man. Yeah, it's an interesting game. It's like Army Men with rules for the folks that have never actually seen it, and it's like a super complicated chess game. If you could look at it that way too. It's they all have different powers and things like that. Like this particular army can reanimate itself, because again they're like undead robots. Which I think is what my son really liked about them. That and the green. He loves green. Is it like military tactics? Yes. If you're fighting against somebody who knows military tactics and you don't, you'll get beat, because they know what they're doing. And that's one of the things I like. I like my boys playing it, because it does help them with their strategic mind and their tactical thinking. And so it's a good exercise mentally for them. And each army has its own kind of tactics that you have to master. And you really kind of want to learn all the tactics a little bit, so that you know how to fight against other armies. And it's a lot of fun. There's getting ready to be a TV show, I believe, is a big talks with Henry Cavill of Witcher and Superman fame playing it. Does everyone know the rules of each army? So there's basic rules for every army. Or for all the armies, there's a basic set of rules, and then each army individual has rules. Now, everyone has access to the rules for everyone's army, so you should definitely be able to get that information. So if somebody says like, "Oh, well, this character can do this," then you can easily get this information, because the website for Warhammer has that information available. So there's no hiding that. And there's also data cards. This is kind of what they look like. A data card would look. There's one in English. There's one in English. So it's like this. Now my son spilled something on it, and it has all the specific character information. They also make cards and things like that players like to use to throw it out on the table and say, okay, well, here's my particular rules, and all the rules that are for specific armies can be very niche. So it's not something that is a massive things you have to learn. Most of the guys who play this, they play pretty fair. That's not everybody all the time, of course, but I think, if you've lived in this world for very long, you know that not everybody understands that a game is just a game, and that sometimes you just have to play. How many different armies are there? Okay, so that gets really complicated. There's the Necrons, and then there are a bunch of different human types of armies. One of them is called the Space Marines, or the Adeptus Astartes, and I have a Space Marine somewhere. Where is he? So Space Marines are cool. Find a regular. So. And it's a Marine, kind of a space guy, and they're fun. This one's got a flamethrower on him, and a lot of dust. He's gonna have to get cleaned up before we start painting this one. And there's a bunch of different types of Space Marines depending on the chapter, or you can make your own chapter, so you can niche that out. And then there's also the Imperial Guard, which is the normal humans, the not super space marines. And they use a lot of tanks and artillery and things like that. And then is the Adeptus Sororitas, which is basically nuns with guns. And then, see, there's the Tyranids, which are the bugs that I showed you earlier. There's Chaos Marines, which are like... Yes, so there's also... there's space elves, and these things are aliens. And then the robots, these are aliens. But most of the aliens actually got wiped out by the humans because they're kind of xenophobic, fascist Nazis. Not exactly Nazis. That's a little far. They're definitely fascists, and it's not the universe it's all set in is not very pretty. It's very they call it grimdark is the term that they use for it. And so it's pretty bleak. Everything is war all the time. You know, setting for a war game, of course. Which kind of, I think, you know, it's fun. For war, you need things to be in a perpetual state of combat. And this is as good an explanation as any. There's also the demons. There's an Immaterium, which is another kind of like another parallel dimension where these entities that are the chaos forces and the gods of chaos reign, and they have corrupted some of humanity to be chaos marines. I just painted one of those guys not too long ago. I play Magic the Gathering, and I know there is a Warhammer set recently. Yeah, I think they did. I don't know if they did that for 40K or for Fantasy, because there's two different Warhammers. There's Warhammer 40K, which that's what this is, and then there's Warhammer Fantasy, which this guy is old. This guy is a 1984 giant from Warhammer Fantasy. He's really old. I found him in a shoebox. So, and if we get to 250, I'm gonna paint this guy. So, yeah, help us get to 250. He's almost done. I did a little bit. I had to do some green stuff work on his shoulders and get some stuff going. But he's almost ready to start painting soon. So, and we're pretty close to 250. We're at 201 this morning. So, you know, we get to 250. I'm gonna paint this guy. And he's super cool. He's super old and he's really heavy. Like, I'm worried about me dropping this thing and breaking stuff. It's heavy. And but my cat doesn't like it. I don't know why. He doesn't like the giant. Just like weird. I don't know why that makes any difference, but it's fun. Cats are funny. People like cats. But yeah, then like I feel like I missed a bunch. There's so many different armies and little factions within armies, and it gets really crazy. And fantasy is fun too. It's a war game, but it's more of you know, medieval knights on horseback, that kind of war game. We want to see the cat. I don't know where he is. He will come by. He usually does. But you never know. He's fun. If you keep watching this show, he'll come on eventually. If it's not this episode, he'll be on another one. And I have two cats. I have that cat, and then the other one you'll very rarely see her, and she's very pretty and very prissy. And then we have a doggo somewhere. The cat's probably with Kale though. That he likes to play with my boy. They play with all sorts of toys. Which is good. You know, you should have, if you have animals, you should definitely play with them. Okay, so this one we're going to do, this part of is going to be the hard shine versus that one. That way it kind of contrasts on itself visually. It breaks up the different, breaks it up. It helps it makes the eye notice the detail better. Ooh, I got a little bit of Phthalo in there. I don't know where that rascal is. Sometimes he's right up there in the stoop, but he's not up there today. And you're very, very lightly here. You're going to trace that blade and get your light mark in first, and you can come back and clean it up and get started on the next bit. There we go. Now we're going to bring that down. How long did this figure take to paint? We are on, let's see, we've done in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So that's 3 hours, and this will be 4 hours today. So 4 hours of work to get to this point right here. You know, which isn't bad. And that's 4 hours of work like this where I'm talking and we're kind of goofing off. I'm not focused hard. If I'm sitting with, you know, and I'm not trying to talk on the internet and, you know, or there's nobody here, I'm all by myself, I can get a whole lot more done a whole lot faster. So it just kind of, yeah, it kind of depends. That's why when I have commissions, I offer discounts for things where people are willing to have it painted on the show, because it's going to take a lot longer. If I have to paint on the show, it takes longer. Let's see, but it's not done yet. Oh yeah, no, it's we've still got to do. We got a lot to do. And this is a big unit, so like it should take longer. Something like this is a smaller unit for the Tyranids, and it's done except for its base and its tongue. I got to do his tongue. So he's pretty much almost ready to rock and roll. I got to do a shell, but that one wasn't as done as I wanted it to be. This one's the one that's done. Okay, there we go. So he's ready to have the base done, and it only took me like 30 minutes to do this guy. You know, so it's a whole lot faster. And this one's pretty tricked out. Like, I could leave. You don't have to paint them up to that standard. And they make some substances to make things a little easier. Some different mediums, like a contrast paint, and there's a dip you can buy where you spray paint them white and you dip them in this thing and it comes out a certain color. So there's a lot of different parts to it. Like even with this army, the other Necrons that go with it don't take nearly as long to paint as he does. He's a leader, so like we really want to give him a lot of drip, you know. He needs to be all stylish, and you want your leader to stand out. You know, maybe a little intimidating to help you out with your fight. Okay. No. So Jaden asks, if the leader dies, do you lose the game? No. There's points that every round of the game you gain points towards victory. And you can even lose like the majority of your units, but you gained the victory because of certain criteria in the game. And there's a bunch of different modes you can play. So like victory conditions can vary from match to match. So it can change. And there's different types of the game. So like sometimes you're playing where the other army's trying to kill you and you're trying to escape. There's somewhere you are trying to winner takes all. Whoever decimates the other army completely wins the game. And like I said, there's a lot of different ways to play it, so it keeps it really versatile. But the main way to play it, it has a point system that you use to determine, who won. Because again, you might lose your leader, but you still manage to secure the objective and whatever you were supposed to do. Is there a co-op in this game? There can be. There's sometimes you can play where you're doing like 4v4 or 2v2. I mean, where you have two players on each team playing with each other against another deal. And then some guys there's a great podcast called Poor Hammer. Those guys are funny. And they've been doing it for a while. Anyway, they developed a thing that's like horde mode, where you can play, you get your two armies out there, and then you can have a bunch of hordes of other units that are coming wave after wave after wave against your guys, just to kind of give it some difference and changes. Then let's see. There's lots of different types of. There's so much different Warhammer stuff that it's crazy. There's a fun one is Silver Tower. If you want to do something that's like co-op, there's Silver Tower because it's a little bit more like D&D tactical, like a tactical D&D. And PvE. But I mean, as far as co-op, like, you're always going to have somebody else operating the other team. So you're always doing something. So you're either you and your friend are operating the enemy in the horde mode to fight against you, or your friend is operating the horde and you and your other friend are so there's always something that has to be done with it. Since this it isn't a computer game, it's an actual physical model game. Now they do have a couple of like Total War of this for PC gaming, and I think it has some co-op. Your figure looks good even on camera. I bet it looks even better in real life. Yeah, hey, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. They definitely have a different look in real life than they do on the camera. And I don't have, I'm not running like the best camera in the world, but it's getting better. I get better at it all the time. I have tech friends that help me get all my my tech stuff in order. I'm not the most technical person. I'm a retired chef, so like, if you want to know about steaks and stuff like that, I was really good with all that. Or how to fix a refrigerator, I know how to do that. But computers, I never really had a lot of time at a computer because I was always in the kitchen. So I have to have friends to help me kind of navigate tech. And my oldest son, he's kind of helps me out too. But he's a teenager and he's kind of in that stage where he's got a lot of his own things going on, so I try not to bother him too much. And yeah, when I try to paint every day, I try to paint a little bit live. I come on here for a while. It kind of depends on how much activity we've got going on, and and stuff like that. I try to jump on for an hour a day and just do a little bit of demonstration for anybody who wants to see it. And that's kind of how it goes. I really appreciate folks stopping by, and thanks for the conversation, Jim. I really appreciate that. It's fun to paint and have other people around. Sometimes we'll have painting parties where I have friends come over and paint. Because I'm not the only one that's into all this. I have friends who do other stuff, but we do mostly Dungeons and Dragons. I think I got one of those. I'm working on this is what I'm working on for a D&D game. She's a lot of fun. This one's for my lovely wife. Has her character here. Working on that one, and then I'm working on this one. Although the cat broke his sword, so I gotta glue that back on. But he's looking spiffy. But I haven't been able to get back to him yet. But I'll get him all done up. He's a lot of fun. Jim says it's good to learn about other hobbies. Heck yeah, it is. I have a friend of mine does magnet fishing, and I have no desire to ever magnet fish. But I find it absolutely fascinating, the whole idea of it, and what they find in these rivers is really, really cool. And I'm like, I don't really want to hang out on the side of a bridge with a magnet, but that's really neat. Like, they found this old, I think a guy found a Civil War cutlass the other day. I was like, how did you manage to find that? For some reason, Karen rises. Right? Beauty and the Beast. She's got that same kind of color like Beast does. She's fun. She's called Tabaxi is the name of it. And they're cat people. And she's like a illusionist pirate. So I love her. I love the coat on that. It's so much fun. But let's see. Let's an hour and 13 minutes. I got to get ready to take this kiddo to soccer. So we're gonna wait. We're gonna have a few minutes left. We'll run until about 4:30, so about 15 minutes. And then I gotta get ready. I'm gonna try and get at least everything framed up here. Because then I can come back. When we come back tomorrow, we can finish it up and get it all done up, and move on to the rest of the deal. Because we still have to. We got a whole bunch of work to do with the rest of this staff. So here are Central Time Zone. Yes, I am in the Central U.S. Time Zone. I live in the fabulous Choctaw, Oklahoma. Kind of tucked out in the middle of nowhere, just outside Oklahoma City. It's nice. I can be in the city in no time, but I don't have to deal with all the insanity of being in Oklahoma City. Plus, we got a really pretty pond next door, and you can look out the kitchen window in the morning. And or in the afternoon, you just kind of look out over the pond and all the trees, and it's a beautiful thing. And I do enjoy that. I like nature and being outdoors. It doesn't particularly like me. I'm highly allergic to it, but I do like it. What's the best thing about Oklahoma? Oh man, let's see. The best thing about Oklahoma. It's cheap. Man, living here costs you like nothing. It's dirt cheap to live in Oklahoma. And there's some great people. There's clowns everywhere. But for the most part, Oklahomans take care of each other and other folks. They're not the kind of people that are gonna let you sit in your car on the side of the road freezing to death. that they're not those people. Like, they see you on the side of the road, somebody's gonna pull over, somebody's gonna check on you. It's just that that's that kind. They're that kind of people. They're always gonna kind of go that little step to make sure everything's okay. Everybody kind of watches each other's backs around here, and that's nice. I've lived in some other places, and the folks, you know, they're nice enough people there, but the area as a whole kind of had maybe a standoffishness to it, or you know, it took a while for you to kind of fit in or whatever. Oklahomans aren't like that. You're part of their group as soon as you've survived a year. You're like, oh, you made it a year? Ah, you're one of us now. And that's just kind of how they are. So it's, the people here can be a lot of fun. They can be a real pain in the butt, but they're also, you know, they're good people. If you know a couple Okies and you need something to get done, you call them. They'll take care of it. And like I said, I've left several times and come back, and you know, it's a neat place. And like I said, God, it's cheap to live here. If you've lived other places, and you're like, oh man, golly, it's cheap to live in Oklahoma. What food should I try if I go to Oklahoma? Okay, so depends on which part of Oklahoma you're in. But the barbecue here is usually pretty good, almost anywhere you go. But like, we still have a bunch of the old diners, like from the 50s and stuff, and they still make it the way that they used to make it all the way back then. And so like, you can go in and get chicken fried steaks and biscuits and gravy and all that sort of stuff, and it's gonna be like if it's a diner and they're serving frozen biscuits, they're not gonna be living very long in Oklahoma. And so like, you can try some of these old diners and stuff like that, and there's some neat stuff. But there's this great new food culture birth that's happened in Oklahoma City and in Tulsa, where they're really changing the culinary deal and moving on. I think there's a Native American restaurant that's in Tulsa that's getting really good, and then the First Nations Museum out here in Oklahoma City, they have a little restaurant there that's fun, and it's like a Native American cuisine, which is new, like that, or it's new to the culinary world. It's not something that's typically showcased, which I find that fascinating as a former chef. Then there's some other really great restaurants out here, like None Such is really good, and if you're looking, you can find anything. That's what's so crazy about this place. You can go into an Irish pub one second, and then the next you're eating Lao food at a restaurant in the plaza. So, and if you have never had Lao food, Oklahoma has one of the best Lao restaurants in the country, which seems really weird. I think it's strange, but it's here, and it's really good. My mentor was Lao, and he made, like, I made tons of Lao food. I went down there and had theirs. It was spot on. It was like it was awesome. So like, you can literally find anything, but I would definitely go try like the barbecue in the diners if you want like the quintessential Oklahoma. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, man, it's a neat place. I was just in Tulsa this morning, and there's actually one of the best pizza places I've ever eaten at, and I've eaten at pizza places all over the country. And some of the best pizza I ever had is this little place in Tulsa called Andolini's, and God bless, it's good. It's like I had to come home so I could get on today and paint, but like, I missed it. I usually don't go to Tulsa and miss a chance to stop at Andolini's. Because it's that kind of good where it's like, you don't miss it, you know, you'll miss. If you get a chance, you go by there. I should have grabbed a pie and brought it home. But we just had pizza. Coming from a chef, it's good. Yeah, it's tasty, man. It's tasty. In Oklahoma City, there's so many great places to eat food. Pizza down here is interesting. It depends on what kind you like. There's a place called Empire that does some good stuff, but there's also some other really neat places. There's a place called Cafe 7 that does like a build your own kind of thing, and it's exclusive to Oklahoma, and they make a really good little like miniature personal pizzas. And then like there's the Hideaway is the juggernaut around here, and they're all right. But yeah, there's some really neat restaurants. I like to go to this. There's this Guatemalan place I like to go to on class, and you should do a food YouTube. Well, so I can't. I'm not supposed to be doing a lot of cooking anymore. My lungs and my pulmonary system are really bad, so I'm supposed to like not be around a lot of fumes. I was thinking about maybe doing a little bit of that, but it's hard for me to stay standing up for long periods of time doing things, and I'm hoping I can get a little stronger, and maybe I can do something like that in the future. But like I might do that. I've got several friends of mine that do that. So I kind of don't want to jump on my friend's toes. But I might start reviews. It might be a fun channel. That's a really good idea. I do eat a lot. I do eat out a lot around here. We're always trying to try new places. My wife and I, she was a pastry chef. So we love to go eat food, especially if it's somewhere new. And we just did a work for the Hamilton Superette, which is another great place. If you're in Oklahoma City, you should totally go check them out. And it's kind of like it's very Oklahoma food, but done in a much more upscale kind of way than most Oklahoma food is done. But they try to take like the flavors and present it at a little higher end. My friends talk about NYC and other major cities, but never okay. Yeah, there's not a whole lot. We're just now kind of becoming something people talk about, you know? Oklahoma City was kind of like it was in the middle of nowhere until the basketball team kind of got really moving. And now there's a lot more folks that are interested. So there is probably a market for that. Unfortunately, there's been our restaurant industry got nailed recently, so there's a lot of places that are closing down. But that's a really good idea. I'll definitely think about that. Especially since, you know, I have the knowledge, the food knowledge of knowing what's good and what's not good. So, you know, yeah, it's not a bad idea. And my friends who do it aren't on YouTube. They use their stuff on Facebook. So maybe there's a market for that. Start a whole nother YouTube. I guess we'd have to start going out to eat more often. I could probably claim it as a business expense. All right. You can kind of see we're getting it started. It takes a little while to get it all the way there. Tomorrow we'll do a little bit more work on our blending and getting all our stuff to kind of fade in properly. Yes, everyone likes foods. And cats. Where is that cat? Buttons! Hey, Kale! Do you see Buttons? Bring him here. His presence has been requested. Okay, I'll bring the cat. I'm gonna have the boy bring the cat. He's a big fat guy. Matthew Yates. You guys take it easy. I gotta head home. Yeah. Hey, thanks, Matt. I really appreciate you stopping by. Here he is. Big guy. Hello, butt. You say hi to everybody? You say hi to everybody? Huh? Mm-hmm. Please don't go eat the figure. He likes to eat figures. You're certainly welcome, Jim. No problem.
Yeah.
Bye, buddy. Yeah, he's not in the mood today. Let's see. Yeah, we got about 2 more minutes, so I'm gonna close the lid. We're gonna take one quick look at what we've done. We're gonna start closing down. Get ready to get off the air. So it's that's our nice cat. That's right. And if you watch enough, eventually you'll see the other one. She comes on occasionally, but she's not as friendly as Buttons. Buttons is the friendly guy. So we still got to get underneath and get started on that side. We're looking really good on the rest. So we'll hopefully, by the end of the week, hopefully we've got all our green done. And we're moving on to finishing the blue here and on this bits. I did a little bit of a sample work on this one to kind of get started on it, but I'm not quite happy with it yet. We're going to do more of that when we get there. But I think I have an idea. And we've still got this whole guy down here to paint, a bunch of this other stuff to work. So this is going to take, we're going to be doing this guy for several episodes. And so you definitely haven't missed too much if you've missed the first couple. But he is looking super spiffy. Really happy with the progress. Come check us out. Give us a like, give us the subscribes. We need all that stuff. Helps the channel grow. And we're trying to get over to the 250, so we can paint that giant. That's gonna be really neat. So that's about all I got today. I gotta get up. I gotta walk around. My knees are starting to get a little stiff, and that's a good point for everybody out there. Make sure you move around. Don't sit for too long. It's bad for your legs. I'm trying to take care of everybody. So I hope you guys had a great time. I had a great time. Jim says, thanks for streaming. It was fun. Thank you, Jim. I really appreciate the conversation. You really helped keep things rolling today. It was a blast. I always have a good time, though. I really enjoy having a chance to paint and show off for the folks that watch. I know a lot of people will come back and watch after we're done, which is awesome. And we really appreciate it. So thank you so much, guys. And we're going to see you tomorrow. I hope you had fun. Had a great day. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.